You have, you have to do it, Kylen. You have to kill him.
Why? Why do I have to do it?
Do it.
Connor, please.
Hey, guys.
What are we doing?
We're talking about it.
Oh, my God.
And we're going to be talking about killing them. Doing it.
Who are we killing? What are we doing?
Well, Kylen, we're killing player characters.
Oh my God.
Or at the very least, sunsetting player characters. Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Talk About It. It's
I'm Kylen.
I'm Connor, and this is the podcast where Kylen and I get drunk and we talk about stuff.
We also do a little parkour, so I'm gonna wiggle my leg real quick.
Ooh, look at that leg wiggle.
Oh wow.
Ooh.
Oh, that's impressive stunt.
Me, I'm gonna do some weird ass yoga pose, falling angel.
Oh my God, he did it. Wow, he's a fallen angel. He's like Sephiroth or something. No, wait, that's one-winged angel. God damn it.
I ain't got no wings, Kylen.
I ain't got no wings.
But Lieutenant Dan, you ain't got no wings.
Connor, what are you drinking?
That is a great thing that we normally do. That's a great question to ask. So I am drinking a concoction that consists of, it isn't coffee this time. Y'all should be so proud of me.
Gasp. Variety.
Instead, this is, I want to name it in honor of mine, our beloved Osqueef. I want to name it Riot Juice. Riot Punch.
Riot Punch.
This is a mixture of absolutely zero Monster Energy.
Okay.
Sunny D.
Fuck yeah.
And Seagram's Twisted Lime Gin.
Oh, I've had that. Yeah.
So, yes, I am mixing ups and downs as I am known to do. But
you're jungle juicing it up over there.
I really are. So, Kylen, what are you drinking tonight?
Good question. So TSB has been in the mood for some nice cold weather drinks. So started off with some alcoholic eggnog. And then
eggnog?
Yes, eggnog. Surprisingly, I like it, despite the fact that I hate one half of the name.
But Kylen, at the time that we're recording this, it is not December. Why are you drinking eggnog? Because
TSB takes a lot of pride in his eggnog making ability. So our original idea was to make mulled wine a la the recipe they released for Liam O'Brien's episode of Between the Sheets.
Okay.
And so he was like, oh, this recipe calls for brandy. If we get enough brandy, I can make my eggnog recipe. So we have eggnog and mulled wine. And right now I'm drinking the mulled wine, and it's very delicious. It tastes like wassail. Do you know what wassail is?
I do not know what wassail is. I thought you said waffle.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, I told TSB the same thing, and he was like, what the hell is that? So like, comment, and subscribe if you don't know what wassail is, or you know what the fuck I'm talking about, which it's basically just like mulled cider.
Please like, comment, and subscribe.
Please. But yeah, excuse me. So yeah, mulled cider, and this is basically the same thing, except it has red wine and brandy. So it's like alcoholic wassail. So it tastes very good. It's got all the spices and shit. We made it in like the crock pot. I spice.
Spice.
Oh yeah, this is a spicy drink. A spicy boy.
Ooh, spicy.
So how have you been since we last recorded?
Oh, we didn't do any challenges whenever we last recorded, did we?
No, I don't think so.
That's fair. We'll have some now.
Okay.
I've been good. Lots of stuff coming up in my role playing games.
Oh, speaking of challenges, my life has been challenging.
Oh no!
These last 2 weeks.
Oh no! Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, we could talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Oh my God, that leggy action, that was sick. That was a sick trick. Yeah, no, it's just like everything that could like hit me in life happened at once.
Right. Okay, I'm thinking of one thing that happened over the past couple of weeks, but
yeah, so my cat Vax,
Vax, the
he
mighty
is
hunter.
my sweet boy. And I'm looking
Sweet
at him
boy.
right now because he's just like sitting there licking himself loudly.
Not to be confused with the character played by the wonderful voice of Brian, Liam O'Brien of Critical Role fame.
Yes. Named after him, named in homage to him. Yeah, he wasn't feeling too hot. So we took him to the hospital, and it turns out he had a little blockage in his urinary tract, keeping him from being able to pee. Which, since we caught it as early as we did, is fine. But if we caught it any later, his kidneys would have failed, and that would have been bad. But so he had to do a little stay in the hospital, which that plus the procedure was a little expensive. But luckily, we've had a lot of help raising money, so we're doing a lot better.
Yeah, thank you so much to the community at large who have helped chip in for that, because y'all are awesome.
Everyone's been so nice. Like, I kind of expected like maybe like my family to chip in money, but it's a lot of it's been people that I've only ever talked to on the internet, which is to me just like very humbling and sweet that like, oh, you've never met me, but you would donate money so I can help pay for my cat's vet bills. I don't know. That just really warms my heart. So thank you.
Thank y'all so much. Like y'all helped a sweet boy.
A sweet demon boy. But yeah, he's doing better now. He's back home. He's off his medicine. He is on prescription food now. He has to take a certain type of food just because cats who have had urinary tract blockages before, they're at a higher risk of getting them again. So we have to take every precaution possible to keep him from, not being able to pee because that's expensive. But yeah, so that happened. I got sick. With 2 different things. I had a stomach bug one day, and then the next day I came down with a cold.
Oh no.
Which is honestly so rude at my immune system. And then on top of that, TSB went home for a weekend. So I was by myself being sick and having to deal with cat things. And then once that was taken care of, I was still sick, and just life has really been hitting me hard, but I'm here. I've made it. And things will hopefully get better. I survived, bitch. Yeah, so that's my spiel. That's my rant about how life has sucked, but I'm making it.
Yeah. Well, I'm certainly glad that you're here making it.
Yeah, kicking ass, taking names.
Doing it.
Doing it. Oh my god. I'm sorry. I think I'm gonna cough like the whole stream, guys. I don't know why. I don't know if it's sickness or I accidentally like swallowed something the wrong way. So please be patient with my coughs.
Well, see, I choked during our stream today. I choked on my tea. That's not something
Damn.
that I normally do while the audio's on.
Damn, the tea too hot.
So I feel. But I'll try to edit some of your sickness out in post.
Yeah, just you know.
Some of your struggle.
Put some pleasing sound effects over my coughs.
Let's see if I can capture the like Laura Bailey chime and just put it over your coughs. Just like set up.
Every time I cough, there's like beautiful heart music. And so like the first few coughs, there's gonna be like no context because there's just gonna be heart music, and everyone's gonna be like, "What the fuck?"
And now we've explained it.
So there you go.
That's why things have been happening during the rest of the stream. And now I actually have to go find that sound effect and overlay it at those parts.
Yeah, Sober You is going to be so mad. You just be like, God fucking damn it. Kylen's always making me edit shit. Jesus Christ.
Hey, that last one that you had me do was actually really hard to do.
What did I have you do last time? It was
the sparkle gif.
Oh, the sparkles. Yeah, I'm just you know, my drunken demands.
I mean, hey, it's like a new challenge for me every week, and it's helping me grow my editing skill. Eventually, I'll be on Ginger Benji's level.
Oh, yeah. Like, I'm making you stronger.
Putting in those gains, those editing gains.
Oh, my God.
But, you know, most of the people, all the like 6 people who tune into this stream, this is a video on demand.
This is a pay-per-view.
This is pay-per-view.
You have to drive to movie gallery and
you have to have YouTube Premium, formerly known as YouTube Red.
You have to go up to the counter and be like, I would like one. Let's talk about it, please. And they'll be like, oh, you really want to watch that shit? Okay.
I mean, I'm not here to judge, but yeah, the 6 people who come here probably know us because we're somewhat active in the tabletop role-playing game community. Somewhat. Hey, we're working on becoming a little bit more prominent. Both.
Yeah, we're barely spreading our wings. We're making some, some small baby flights.
Yeah. But they want to hear us talk about death and sunsetting characters. Because, you know, in life, sometimes you need a change.
In life, sometimes you die.
In life, sometimes you die. But also at other times, sometimes you just need to have a new perspective, want to like get away for a little bit. It is okay in life for you to roll a new character every now and then.
Damn, that's some serious business. But you know what?
What?
I've never done that.
So you've never had a player character die.
I have never had one of my own player characters die. I've had to roll death saves a few times, but I've never actually, you kicked the bucket, you died, rip, tear up that character sheet. No, I've never actually, I've never actually gone all the way in that regard. Oh, your lighting just got darker.
Yeah, Alexa has betrayed me.
I thought you turned it dark because you wanted to get dark and talk about death.
No, I only do that whenever there's an audience who can actually see me.
Oh, I thought it was for the sole purpose of entertaining me, but that's fine.
You wish you were that important. No, you really are. And I'm glad that you found it that way.
Oh, bitch.
You've never also rolled a new character in the middle of an ongoing storyline?
No. I almost did, but
Oh, you almost have?
oh yeah,
You want to talk about it?
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Oh, yes, parkour, bitch. Parkour, bitch. But, from the other side. Connor's just posing it up. Yeah, so, in our campaign that's run by Negative Sigma, his homebrew campaign, there was a point in time where my character, I got a hold of this cursed axe, this cursed great axe, that had some pretty sweet benefits, but the drawback was if you failed a wisdom save, you were compelled to attack everything in like your line of sight, regardless if it was friend or foe. And so that happened one time during, a big important battle.
Who did it happen with? Who did you get compelled to attack? Why don't you talk about it, Kylen?
Listen, Connor, I didn't have any say in the matter, so one, hush. So yeah, I ended up attacking Connor's character, Connor's bard, and came. I don't know if I actually like downed you for real or came close, but
I don't think I got downed.
Okay.
I think I got close.
Okay. But yeah, that was like a stressful ordeal because not only were we in the middle of like this boss fight and trying to fight this boss, but then like everyone was trying to deal with, oh shit, our barbarian is out of control. How do we keep from dying from our fucking barbarian? So, luckily we like that whole situation got taken care of, and like the axe was knocked away from me, and I was able to like come out of it okay. But like the other characters after the fact, especially TSB's character, was like really giving me shit afterwards, like blaming me for it, but my character had like no recollection of it.
Mm-hmm.
She was pissed off, so she like ran off, and like that was kind of like how the session ended. And like I had it in my mind, I'm like, okay, well maybe I just need to like roll a new character.
Right.
But Negative Signal was like, no, I got something planned. See how you like this, and then you can decide whether or not you want to bring in a new character. And I was like, okay. And so he had a scene where I basically talked with my ghost dad, and my ghost dad kind of like set me straight. And he was like, because my character's story in that campaign is that her brother killed her dad to assume command of the orc tribe that she's a part of. She's a half orc, and like basically like exiled her. So she has to like she's trying to get stronger so she can like defeat her brother. But yeah, her dad basically like whipped her in the shape. Like, how are you gonna get stronger without friends, without people to back you up? And she's like, shit, you're right. So she came back. But yeah, I had in my mind, I was like, okay, yeah, why would she stay with the group? Maybe I should roll a new character. And I was in the process of doing that until the DM was like, see how you like this, then you can decide.
Yeah.
So all that to say that I came close one time, but I didn't actually go through with it because I was like, yeah, I like this. You brought in my ghost dad. Okay.
So, unfortunately, my characters have died a few times.
Womp.
A womp womp indeed. So actually my very first character, this was not in D&D 5th edition. This was actually in Pathfinder. But the very first character that I ever rolled, his name was Cornell. He was a human druid. He died.
Oh.
He died during our very last session.
Oh no.
It was our final boss fight against his mother.
Oh, Mom. Why are you fighting Mom?
Okay, so Cornell was a human druid. Like abandoned at birth. I had just like read Oedipus Ray, and I thought that was like a really cool like backstory, like an abandoned son, heir to the throne, prophecy to destroy the throne. So she was the evil queen that I was destined to overthrow, and she had used a like Pathfinder spell called Banshee Wail.
Ooh.
Twice.
Oh.
And during both of those, I rolled a nat 1 on my saving throw.
Oh shit.
First character, like instantly knocked down to 0 hit points from full. Got back up, failed with a nat 1 to the second save. Like, I am insta-downed.
Oh, that Banshee nonsense is tough.
Now, this was the end of our campaign. So, like, to wrap up the story cleanly, our DM, they decided, like, okay, cool. Like, all my players are here. All the players are alive except for this one. I'll sacrifice my, like, avatar so that they can come back and have their epilogue, same as everyone else. And I thought that, like, okay, that was cool. Now, in the moment, I was like, okay, my character died. It's our last session. I'm kind of ticked off. I haven't had a chance to, like, grieve my character in the moment. I would really like to be alive so that I can have my epilogue moment.
Yeah.
But, like, in retrospect, I'm like, it would have been really cool if I, like, just died a heroic death and not made an ass of myself.
But I guess it would be frustrating. Like, you know, this is the moment you've been, you know, your character's arc has been building up.
This was the end of, like, an 11-week campaign. Like,
yeah. End of a campaign.
Very first time, like, role-playing in a fantasy setting.
Yeah. And then your character fucking dies.
Yeah, to like a save or die situation. But, like, so I did have to sunset that character, sort of, because it was the end of our campaign.
Yeah.
So they had an epilogue where they got an NPC and lived out the rest of their lives after their Oracle sister sacrificed herself to save the world and also restored this person back to life.
Damn.
And they lived sort of happily ever after, but their family's dead and their friends are pissed at them.
Push me to the edge. All my family's dead.
Yeah. Since then, I think I've only had one character death. We came close today, but I only had one character death.
Are you well, no, you've had 2 character deaths.
What's the other one that you're thinking of?
The one that I was there to experience was in Out of the Abyss with Jakar.
Yes, Jakar died. Also,
it's a Banshee shit, if I remember.
Yes.
Or Wraith shit.
Wraith shit. Okay. I am not good with the incorporeal undead sort that have, like, strength draining, hit point draining things. They are the cause of all evil in my world. They are the cause of all of my player deaths.
You got any spooks? That shit will kill me.
I am not good with ghosts. I am afraid of some ghosts.
I need a Ghostbuster.
Ghostbusters, please. Okay, so Jakar did die, but I think the Silent Man did a really good job of like giving the rest of y'all a scroll of resurrection and giving y'all a chance to revivify him immediately.
Yeah, it was a very short-lived death, but it was still
a short-lived death. I love that phrasing.
Thanks, I'm drunk. But but it was still like, even with like character deaths that you get like an immediate resurrection, it still hits heavy. Like, fuck.
Yeah, it should.
Die.
In my opinion, it should. Like, that's not great on the psyche.
But I could talk more about that once we get through your character death experiences, because I have an experience to talk about. But no, it was still just like, fuck. Like, oh shit. Because if I'm not mistaken, it kind of happened early on in our encounter with the Wraith.
Yeah, so it happened before we hit 3rd level. It was still during our first session, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but even then, it was like not very far in the actual battle itself when it happened.
Oh, so like not very far into like the time block session.
Yeah. Well, no, not the session itself, but the actual combat with the enemy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so I had a few rounds like being raised as a specter, fighting people.
Like, so it was just like, oh shit.
Yeah, so the Wraith thing has a like drain vitality or drain strength thing that like reduces your max hit points. It reduced my max hit points from full health as a Goliath barbarian.
A big meat boy.
Down to like -1. So my maximum hit points was negative. That's insta death.
And a bitch was dead.
A bitch was in fact dead. But y'all killed me and the person who killed me and revivified me, and then I got a really cool light sword after it because I was like the only melee fighter.
Yeah. We had one more melee fighter, but I don't know. My character gave you the sword since you died.
Hey. And then you helped me get my totems. But the other I did have one other 5th edition character death. And that was my wonderful gunslinger Jason.
Oh, Jason.
Yeah, his name's Jason. He was a gunslinger. He was human, but he was using the stats of a wood elf, because in this world there really wasn't other races, but we could still use the stat block of any other race. And at some point we went into this thing where we needed to get some artifacts, and one of the artifacts was held by an order of monks, and they like knocked the shit out of me and threw me against the wall, so I had 1 failed death save off the bat.
Fuck.
And then I rolled a -1.
But a -1.
A -1, sorry, a natural 1. That's a word I should have used. So yeah, Jason was a gunslinger. He died whenever we were going after some artifacts from an ancient civilization. He grabbed one. They were being protected by like an order of monks. He grabbed one and like threw it to the rest of the party because he was a very self-sacrificial character. Got instantly like knocked out by one of them because monks are badass. He got thrown against the wall, got like 1 death save already knocked off, and he rolled a natural 1.
Fuck.
So this is like my first just spur of the moment character death. Like, we didn't have any resurrection magic. We were the only people in the world who knew any sort of magic. So.
And none of your party members had any sort of resurrection? spells?
No.
Damn.
This was new shit.
So how did that feel in that moment?
I thought that it was a very good moment for him.
Really?
Narratively. I honestly, looking back, like, I feel like if I let him die at that moment, it would have been complete. It would have been a nice, clean way to sunset that character.
But you didn't.
So my DM had an idea for how to introduce things called mind wisps into his campaign.
Okay.
Which were essentially like disembodied consciousnesses that could grow in power and essentially become gods.
Okay.
Or demigods. Like, they're powerful entities. And Jason is still alive in that campaign. And the character that I currently am about to start playing is like someone that Jason has granted power to.
Okay, so you're about to sunset him.
I have sunset him. We're in a 15-year time gap right now.
Okay.
But one of the like class I'm using air quotes right now, abilities that Jason gets is that he can give followers of him classes in or levels in rangers and druids.
So you're a god right now?
Essentially, Jason is a demigod.
Shit.
Like, he's a disembodied consciousness that's tied himself to a biome. Because this is a very like scientific, like, magic has an explanation. It's ancient, forgotten technologies that people can sort of like harness into if their DNA is written a sort of certain way.
I see.
But I have sunset this character because there really wasn't a lot more that I could do with him. There really wasn't a lot that I could do with Jason.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that, like, being the first druid in this world could have a really nice narrative ring to it.
Oh, so you're about to play druid now.
I'm about to play druid ranger.
So
I'm going to be like level 13 whenever we jump back in. But I've multi-classed between druid and ranger because those are two classes that Jason could have given. Because he's like this sort of like nature-ish god. Jason was like a drug-obsessed crook. He was an outlaw, definitely. But he can grant these abilities because he's tied himself a certain way into the world. But I've sort of sunset this particular character. Part of me wishes that I would have sunset him sooner.
Oh.
Because like him dying at that moment would have been a really cool narrative thing, but I also want to like help my DM playtest and refine this sort of concept that he's been working on.
Okay.
And I also sort of wanted to see like, hey, if I let my character go on a little bit after his death, what would that be like? I want to sort of roleplay that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it turned out pretty well. Like he was a sad boy, and a lot of things that happened in the world were his fault, especially like after his end. I don't want to talk about it too much, so that we can hit other topics. But yeah, a lot of stuff happened that Jason sort of weighed on his incorporeal shoulders.
And it fell right through because he had ghost shoulders.
But that's a sort of self-sacrificial, self-burdening character that he was. Everything was his fault. It was him that was a piece of shit. A very Widowgast sort of character.
Aww. You're a stinky hobo wizard.
Yeah. I mean, he was a stinky hobo gunslinger, so pretty close. But yeah, I have sunset this character pretty recently, and I'm about to roll up a new character that is sort of his protege, even though he doesn't know that Jason was a thing.
Interesting.
Jason is his patron, but I'm not sure that he knows what Jason is or even knows that Jason is a thing.
Interesting.
But that's not... Is it the only player of sunsetted? Yeah, I think that is the only player character that I've sunset. But we have finished a campaign.
Yeah, we did. I've only ever officially sunset one character. I mean, I've had several characters who I probably won't get to play again just because campaigns are on like a permanent hiatus. But we
A
actually...
couple of those are my fault.
Not all of them. Yeah, no, we finished the Curse of Strahd campaign.
Curse of Strahd.
Oh, Strahd really was cursing. Cursing everything. But no, we actually buckled down and finished that one. It took like almost a year, if not more.
Yeah, that was a long campaign.
Just because of like scheduling and all that jazz. But we were able to finish it, and it was, a sad, good time. And yeah, so that was one character that I sunset. But that was like easy for me because like she was a...
Who was this character, by the way?
Oh, this is my character Lenore. I know I've talked about Lenore on this podcast before. My drow warlock of the Raven Queen. That kind of ages our campaign because this is back whenever it was in Unearthed Arcana playtest, and now
I mean, technically, it still is an Unearthed Arcana playtest because they haven't released a new one at this point, which is sort of aging our podcast a little bit more. But
yeah, but like they didn't include it in like Xanthar's or Mordecai's or like any, or even in the publications that have yet to come out. So it's kind of like we're probably not going to go through with this type thing. But it's just kind of like, oh, okay.
I think the last thing that Mike Merle said is that like he thinks that it's a cool concept, but like it definitely needs some refinement, and they'd like to revisit it narratively.
Yeah. So
but right now they're working on like psionics and stuff.
Interesting.
This podcast just a little bit more.
Interesting. Psionics, an interesting concept. Too crunchy for me.
Crunch.
A little more planning and thinking than I really want to do with a character.
A little more
just for like the play style.
Oh, okay. For psionics or for Lenore?
For psionics.
Okay.
Just because I'm chasing this rabbit a little bit. I read up on them like one time, and this was like closer to the beginning of like my D&D days where I was kind of like, I'd gotten my feet wet a little and I was doing some like more exploring. So at the time, it was just like really a lot. It was so different from all the other mechanics, and it was just like so heavy and just like the abilities are kind of crunchy. So at the time, it really kind of went over my head. I don't know if I ever like relook at it, if I'll be like, oh, this still seems like too difficult. But who knows? If they are working on it right now, maybe they'll streamline it to where it like fits better with everything else.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and like finalize the age on this on this podcast. The very last week's episode of Mike Merle's Happy Fun Hour was revisiting the psionic concept, talking about like the goals of what they want to do with implementing a new class and stuff. And it seems like they are trying to go a little bit more simple with it than the 5 subclasses that came out with the last round of the Mystic. So hopefully we can get something that we'll all be happy with and that we'll all be able to jump into pretty soon. But you sunset Lenore.
I did sunset Lenore, and I was saying that was kind of like an easy thing for me to do narratively, because she is a very like detached, kind of cold and calculating character, partially because, you know, she is like a drow, and she like went through a lot of emotional trauma just with her childhood in drow society. So ever since then, she's kind of like distanced herself from super heavy emotional stuff. Anyways, so partially because of that, and partially because as a warlock at the Raven Queen, she's kind of like dedicated her life to basically doing whatever her patron wants her to do. So it was as simple as, okay, well, you know, my time here in Barovia has concluded. What next, Raven Queen? And going about her way. So for me, that was like an easy transition, because like Lenore felt, you know, kind of like viewed her mission in this world in like a clinical detached sense. I was able to feel the same way. Like, okay, this is the end of this journey. You know, here's the next step. Here I go. I'm on my way. So that was interesting. For me, it was like harder to see, like, with what Quincy went through at the end of the campaign. Like that kind of got to me more, seeing that, oh shit, he couldn't really be saved. I think we have talked about Quincy before and like what happened to him.
Well, if nothing else, we'll do a quick recap. So,
yeah.
So people who have followed like Kylen and me know, well, they might be able to find a one shot that we did with at Katie Faye's, wonderful person, friend of both of us, lovely creator.
Yeah.
She ran an impromptu one shot with us where Kylen was able to take on a character that she had played under me previously, Brynhild, in a defunct campaign that I had previously run. And I had run a gnome for the very first time to fulfill one of the challenges that we made for each other on this channel series.
Podcast.
Series. Let's go. Podcast series.
Yes.
So I'd run a gnome cleric, light cleric of the huntsman, and the huntsman is what Quincy eventually became. Quincy was this monster slayer fighter, and then eventually ranger whenever Xanathars came out, that fought werewolves and eventually got infected by the alpha werewolf in Curse of Strahd and became the thing that he hunted the most. But because this was a world where he could kill seemingly without consequence, he became infatuated with that sort of power and kept killing monsters and kept gaining power, and eventually killed y'all's party killed Strahd. At Kylen, you landed the ending blow.
I did. I roasted that bitch with sunlight.
Guiding bolt.
Yeah, he was in like the little sunlight circle too. So
yeah,
that bitch was dead.
But eventually, Quincy became a Dread Lord, Dark Domain master of his own. Especially whenever, spoiler alert, for in case you were running or playing in a Curse of Strahd campaign.
Oh, spoiler.
Strahd may or may not come back, depending on what your DM wants to do. Spoiler-free zone. And Quincy became the ruler of his own sort of dread domain.
Yeah, because the thing with Quincy is everyone else wanted to leave Barovia, but he didn't. He wanted to stay.
He wanted to stay and fight monsters and keep doing that. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, you can become a ruler of your own dread domain and be cursed to only create monsters out of the people that you come to train and stuff. You're still a werewolf and you still think that you're doing good, but anyone you send out into the world is probably going to do bad. But the gnome character that I brought into the world, into Kitty Faith's world, was a follower of that particular demigod.
The huntsman.
The huntsman guides my path. I was rolling like nat ones all night.
Yeah, you had the worst luck, which was like
I had the worst luck, but like Quincy was a bad demigod, so I was okay with it. I'm like, this matches up with what this patron would do.
Yeah, so yeah, for me it was harder to see, like, kind of like, I don't want to say failure of his arc, because that's not right. It's not failure. It was just a different path.
Like he to quote a very great series that you and I are both very big fans of, he was drowning in his own despair. I'm talking about Danganronpa.
Dadgum Rhombus. But
great series, great video game series. Y'all should definitely check it out. This is not sponsored by Spike Chunsoft.
Yeah, not sponsored, just an endorsement. But yeah, so that was it. It was interesting to see how that ended up, because myself and the other person in the campaign, we were just like, okay, yep, this is the end of the campaign. We beat Strahd. That was a fulfilling moment. I'm kind of ready for this, ride off into the sunset. But Quincy was like, no. So that was kind of heartbreaking to see, but it made for a delicious, juicy moment and lore that you can use now.
Yeah. Now, that's two important things. Number one, I'm glad that y'all thought that was entertaining, because I feel like I did spend a little bit more time on him during that final epilogue session than I should have, especially since like there were 2 other players present. But number two, we did have another player in that campaign.
We did.
That player did die at one point.
She did die. Yeah, so we had a Dragonborn rogue named Belgrave, and we got into a fight with some vampire spawn up in someone's attic.
Yeah, it was the grave digger's place.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. It has been like a year since I've run this module.
Something like that. It was in Vallaki. I remember that.
It was in Vallaki.
So we got into a fight with some vampire spawn, and I guess none of us realized how low on health Belgrave was. And so before we know it, it was like, oh, I'm down. And the thing with vampire spawn is, if they take you down to 0 hit points, you die.
You die.
No death saving throws. You straight up die.
And by the time you get to Vallaki, you're probably like level 5, maybe?
Neither of us, the other 2 characters, and I don't even think we had followers at that point. I don't think.
You might not have. It's been a while. I don't remember.
Yeah, because my follower was a cleric, but I don't think we had him at that point. So it was just myself, the warlock with a spell slot or 2, and the fighter with 0 spell slots. So we were like, well, dicks, what do we do?
And so I was running this module. I was the DM for this module. I had decided to follow the advice of a DM skill thing that I was using and insert the Adventurers League hag, Jenny Greenteeth.
Oh, poor Jenny.
Poor Jenny. She was a hag that would be able to provide spellcasting services for the party. And if you're running Curse of Strahd, I strongly, strongly recommend that you include this NPC. She's not in the module. She is just prescribed for like Adventurers League stuff.
Oh, we killed her too. That was sad.
Yeah, y'all killed her.
Yeah, we wanted to kill all the hags living in the windmill, but we only ended up killing Jenny, and all the other ones escaped. So
yeah, in retrospect, I probably shouldn't have put her in the windmill. I probably should have put her somewhere else because like hags have a thing about like the rule of 3. You're supposed to only have 3 hags in a coven. But
you had 4.
But we had 4. Y'all killed Jenny. I think one hag did survive and like go off somewhere. But
okay, so we did actually kill the others?
I think so. It's been a while. It's been a real long while.
So long.
It's been 3,000 years.
But yeah, so you brought in Jenny to give us some sort of something.
Y'all were able to raise dead. She was able to cast Raise Dead on Belgrave and bring her back whole to life.
For a price.
That price was a hug.
A very long hug from Quincy.
It was a very long hug from Quincy.
Which was beautiful.
It was beautiful. Like, yes, a hug doesn't seem like it's worth the whatever gold component diamond that the spell consumes, but it was great in the moment. And it's definitely something that a hag would do, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But that was the first experience that you had with another player dying. Is that right?
Besides the one shot that TSB ran for us, you remember that?
Which one shot?
The one shot where we randomly generated all of our characters.
Right. Right. So I had rolled Tor. Tor was a dwarf life cleric. They were a follower of Morden, if I'm not correct. But and you were a elf.
Yeah, I was Aaron, a high elf, great weapon master, noble fighter, which was honestly just like a what the fuck kind of comment. But that's what the dice led me to. Yeah, so
right.
she was chaotic neutral, so she was like an impudent little brat, basically.
Right, and we were playing with Conster 20, and his character made some choices and ended up dying.
Well, his character made some choices, but I also kind of facilitated it because I kind of turned on the party at one point.
Right, but you were also trying to survive.
Yeah. TSB gave us like if you guys are familiar with the one shot that Liam O'Brien ran during one of kind of the off episodes of Critical Role.
The screw job.
Yeah, the screw job. That's what it was called. He gave everyone's character like a secret goal that they were kind of trying to accomplish. And everyone's goal kind of conflicted with everyone else's goal. And except for one. There was one, straight character, basically, like the straight man, just the, I'm just here for a good time.
Hello, I am a straight man.
Well, let's talk about it.
Methinks the podcast host doth protest too much.
Let's psychoanalyze it.
Let's psychoanalyze that. Let's talk about it.
Oh yes, leggy. But Connor's character did not have a goal that was in conflict.
I didn't know what was going on. Sibling Tor did not know anything. They were just there.
You were Abby the ratted.
I was. But it made sense. We had a player death.
We did. And my character, all I have to say that my character partially facilitated that because she kind of turned on the party for a bit. So I, in one way or another, caused Conster's character player death. But that was different because it was in a one-shot. So, with one-shots, you can kind of go balls to the wall crazier than you would in like a long-term campaign, because it's like, whatever, this is the end of this, so let's just go for it.
That said, we were there for like 6 hours.
Oh yeah, that was quite a one-shot. So so we did experience a character death with that, but it it was a one-shot. It didn't have quite the same effect. It had some effect with me. I felt kind of guilty. Because this was back whenever, not whenever I first started playing D&D, but it was kind of earlier on in my D&D career, in which I still had a lot of, anxiety about, because in my own life, I am a perfectionist of sorts, and I want to always do the right thing and be the best at something.
I want to be the very best.
And so I was still approaching D&D with a mindset of, like, this is something I want to try it and win. Like, I want to make the most optimal choices. I want to, like, get the best result. And, like, at this time, we did not get the best result. We kind of lost in a way. Like, we were fighting some cultists, and we didn't beat them. They ended up releasing this evil into the world.
Right, yeah.
And so, like, part of me was like, oh, that was a fun session, but, like, I didn't, I messed up. I didn't make the right choices. I should have done this. I should have done that. Which now, years later, I'm at the point where I'm like, yes, let me make the suboptimal choices, because those are the choices that will lead to, not all the time will I make suboptimal choices. Like, I'm not going to do it in a way that's like, always screwing over the party, but, whenever I can make like a narratively suboptimal choice that leads to some sort of consequence, it's just like, yeah, give me that juicy shit.
So speaking of suboptimal choices and player death.
Speaking of,
we came pretty close to having a couple of player deaths during a session that we had today.
Yes, we had the season finale of Dragon Knights.
So, if you're at our podcast and don't realize that Kylen and I are both players in a campaign run by Pro Restarter on Twitch.
First of all, how did you find us?
How did you find us? Please like, comment, and subscribe with how you found us.
Second of all, who are you?
I don't know, maybe if we're famous and people stumble upon this later, just like, hey, I need all of their lore. Let me scroll through all of this.
Give me that juicy backstory.
Give me that. So today we were doing our season 1 finale of Per-Research Dragon Knights. Just to put the final, like, hey, yeah, this is when we did it. This is the final, like, aging of this.
We always hint at when we're going to do an episode.
We always do. I was pretty, like, obtuse about it during tonight's Majora's Mask stream. But yeah, we do that, and I came pretty close to dying.
Yeah.
And so did Where's My Dingus? Dingo. Wonderful friend of both of ours.
Yeah, and both of you died for like, or almost died for like, pretty silly reasons, like,
yeah,
related nonsense, like you were basically stuck in like this trap puzzle, like kept getting impaled on spikes, and I was like, oh shit, what do I do?
Yeah, so I was like being thrown up against a spike inlaid ceiling because of wind magic and stuff, because I had like sort of let go of Zephyr because the DM said I did.
Yeah, not strong enough.
I wasn't a strong girl.
I was even less strong.
And I like been thrown up against the ceiling, and like I had a pretty cool thing to like stop the initial impact, but like I came pretty close to dying.
Yeah, and there was nothing I could do. Like if I went off of this pathway, you would have fallen to pretty much your death, because it was like hundreds of feet up. And like if I stayed there, you would have kept impaling yourself on the spikes. So truth be told, I did get kind of a hint from Per-Restarter during the break, because I leveled with him. I'm like, honestly, I have no idea what to do at that point. And he kind of gave me a hint. He's like, okay, well, think about where you are. Like, think about how you got in the temple. Think about the language here. And I was like, okay. And so that gave me a hint as to what to do. Otherwise, I probably would just like sit there like,
So, I also had a conversation with Per-Researcher during the break.
Oh, really?
And I had told him, if Isabel dies, I would be okay with it.
No, I wouldn't have.
Wouldn't you have? I thought that it would be so interesting to see how Zephyr dealt with that after.
Poorly, badly.
Right. But how cool would that have been?
Oh, I would have he would have hated it more, but I would have also hated it.
And like, okay, so part of that was because I had sort of thought that like we're both on for season 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I sort of thought that like season 2 would have been a different story with different characters in the same world. It's not. We're coming back with the same characters, so we'll be able to see the
I'm glad we are coming back with the same characters.
Oh yeah. I think that Isabel has a lot more that she can do.
Yeah.
But I thought that we were coming back with different characters, so I sort of already had my backup character in mind.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I thought that if Zephyr had to deal with that, that would have been a really cool arc for him.
Oh, that would have been awful.
How would we have dealt with that? And it's probably just by like asking Lop to go back in time and stop him.
Yeah, he probably would have been like, fix this. Time travel is if you have a time traveling gnome bard
if you have Blopter Who in your campaign.
What was it?
If you have Blopter Who in your campaign, you can probably get away with a lot.
Oh, Blopter Who! Yeah, but even then, just waiting for Blop to go through the long rest and regain that power, that would have probably been the most agonizing day of his life.
But how do you think Zephyr would have dealt with him essentially killing Isabel?
Very poorly. More self-loathing that's already present. Because Zephyr has pretty much spent most of his life making bad choices, but he's never seen the repercussions of his bad choices on other people. I mean, like, he would like kill people and like steal and get what he wanted, but like he never saw the consequences of that until in the campaign where he basically let out this evil power that basically almost killed all of his friends. And so that was like and on top of that, like after that battle, he was able to see the ghost of everyone he had killed for this ring, basically, or because of this ring, come back and kill these other enemies that came by. So he was really able to see the consequences of his actions. So after that point, he's been filled with like a lot of self-loathing and just kind of like, I'm this fuck up, I'm this coward, how can I make things right? And it's starting to get to the point where like, well, I guess now at this point he's like, okay, I have this role I can fulfill, I can do good, I can fix things, I can make sure that something like this doesn't happen again.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that would have thrown that that arc off more back into the self-loathing aspect, especially because he has a soft spot for Isabel, as it were. So that would have been a very terrible few hours for him. But luckily, he was able to save her. He still feels very terrible that it happened to begin with, but
Oh, just, seeing Isabel being impaled and regurgitating blood because of his fuck-ups. That's not nothing bad or traumatic coming up with that, especially since, like, Isabel's the person that he treasures most.
Yeah. That came out today, which I'm sure wasn't that much of a surprise, but
Oh, I can't wait for season 2.
All right, shippers, get ready.
All right, anti-shippers, get ready.
So, so you almost died, and then Blop almost died.
Blop also almost died.
Because Blop can't.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad I gave Blop his Argentine.
Yes. Otherwise, because there was this black ball in the middle of this room where Blop was, and Blop was by
Which sort of gave me the like impression of the siphons from Critical Role season 1.
Yeah, I was thinking that because we were like in a ziggurat and there was like this black spinny vortex ball. I'm like, ooh, Critical Role season 1.
Ooh.
But so Blop was by herself because we had to split the party because we were both like, oh, I'm getting, my inner GPS is telling me to go this way. Oh, well, my loot GPS is telling me to go this way.
100% Connor Dixon's fault, by the way.
What do you mean?
Because I'm the person who like suggested to like split the party so that we can pursue both of your things.
Oh, that's true. I think we would have come to that conclusion anyway.
Right, but I'm the one who like, but okay, we all trust Isabel, right? Like you, me, probably Dingus. Like we all trust Isabel.
Yeah.
Isabel probably should not be trusted. Isabel just like, oh, well, this thing's pretty. Let's go follow that.
Well, see, I originally suggested that Zephyr gets Argentine and you go with Blop. But then, like, Blop was like, no, you two go together.
Blop was shipping Isabel and Zephyr.
Blop or Dingo, or both.
Both. But also, can't wait for season 2.
Oh, season 2. But yeah, so Blob was by herself, so she comes across this black vortex portal thing. And context, the episode before, we come to the ziggurat, and there's some light being up at the top, and she's like, oh, let me touch the light, and then like poofs into the pyramid and almost gets pancaked by ceiling trap.
With Isabel.
Yeah, true. Which luckily they were able to get out of that situation. But again, when faced with a weird thing she should not touch, she touched it.
Yep.
And was unconscious and almost got sucked up. If not for the fact that Argentine was there and was able to
Argentine is Isabel's silver pseudo-dragon familiar.
Yeah.
From her Warlock Pact of the Chain.
So Argentine was able to push her out of the way enough to where she did not get sucked into this portal, which would have been really bad. She was able to be brought back up. But yeah, close fucking call, especially since not last episode, but the episode before, everyone got down except for me. So
right.
I think I was unconscious, but I was able to be revived. But at the end, where everyone was down and could not be revived. Oh, so hairy, scary times today.
So hairy, scary.
So, do you want to take a quick little break?
Yes, we can certainly take a little break because I am out of alcohol.
Oh, you're out of alcohol. I have to use the restroom. So, what's our transition going to be today?
Please, no gifts.
Okay, no gifts. I would like a beautiful sunflower.
A beautiful sunflower. I can do a beautiful sunflower.
A beautiful sunflower to represent life and growth.
And what underlying overlaying song would you like for me to play at some sort of augmented speed?
I would like
so that I am not copyright flagged.
I would like you to play the beautiful song, Cotton Eye Joe. Where did you come from? Where did you go?
And that is where we're going to cut to break. See y'all later.
Okay. I hate this. I hate this bit.
Do it.
What do you want me to do?
I want you to tell me about your experiences with other DMs doing player death. That's probably not a super, I want to say comprehensive, super relevant thing, but we've both seen the wonderful Matthew Mercer deal with player.
Yes.
We've seen him deal with it in a couple of ways. Once, actually a few times, whenever other players had things that they could use to bring players back. We've also seen where that was pretty much impossible. And we've seen that when...
Well, unless you want to tinfoil and say, hashtag spoilers alive.
Well, I'm thinking about campaign 1 where it was actually impossible for the players with what they had at the current moment.
Oh, yeah.
But
okay.
also campaign 2 with what the players had at the current moment.
Yeah.
So we've seen how Matt Mercer dealt with it, which is both, hey, conversation with a god, and also, hey, you're dead now. Roll a different character.
Mm-hmm. Or the resurrection challenge.
The resurrection challenge is a really cool thing.
Yeah, I like that mechanic. Well, I guess...
If you don't know what we're talking about, Green Ronin Publishing has published the Critical Role Tal'Dorei campaign guide, in which the Resurrection Challenge rules are a part of. And you can check those out for yourself, or you can watch all of Critical Role Campaign 1, available now on YouTube.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored, but if y'all want to, at Matt Mercer, please.
At Critical Role, please.
At Brian Wayne Foster, please.
Please us.
Yeah, so we've seen him react in multiple ways to player death.
Yeah.
But I also DM and have also reacted in weird ways to player death. One of which we sort of talked on with that other player's character. I don't know her username, unfortunately.
Yeah, she doesn't really have a username. She doesn't really do much online, so.
But she was killed, and we had Jenny Greenteeth be able to resurrect her for a hug. And that hug wasn't her normal going. That was like her first thing, and then she would be able to cast other spells for a cost at later points during the session. But this player, whenever she died, she was trapped in the mist of Barovia, and she saw other things there. And whenever she came back, she was very confused. How did you feel that I approached that as a DM?
I like the chance at, like, I don't like the idea that death is the end of a character. I think there are much more interesting ways narratively to approach the situation, whether it's like a resurrection challenge that you succeed, or you go about soliciting the help of another like an NPC for some sort of price, or that you have a conversation, you make a deal with some sort of entity for a price, and the character is brought back to life. So for me, death is the most boring option. I think there are much more interesting things you can do. And as a very narrative-focused person, I want to go with the more interesting choices, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that really does. I'm going to say something very, very controversial.
Oh, go off, honey. Let me drink some wine real quick.
Oh, do it. Do it, hunty.
Okay, let me get a sip of this tea, and then you can spill it. Okay. Hit me.
I don't want to permanently kill off a player's character without their permission.
Oh.
Ever.
That is a little controversial compared to the older styles of D&D and like the more old-fashioned dungeon crawly meat grinder type, oh, you die. Rip up that character sheet and roll a new one.
Yeah, I do agree. But like, I think that player choice should extend into death. And I'll say a couple of like experiences with that. Jason being one of them. Like, I thought it was okay for him to like live on past that, but he also very, very well could have died there.
Yeah.
I will do some Critical Role season 2, early season 2 spoilers. Molly Mock dying, Taliesin consented to that, so like I think that was good.
Mm-hmm.
And also, Caduceus Clay is a daddy, and I'm okay with him staying around.
I love Caduceus. Poor baby. He, trying to adventure, but gets traumatized at every step.
But like even with like all the player characters that I'm dealing with now, all of them, I'm dealing with 4 of them right now. I don't want any of them to die without their players' permission. And I feel like that does nothing but raise the fun of the players. Because like if they're just like, okay, yeah, I'm okay with this person dying, then I haven't lost anything. Like, cool, there's a narrative reason for them to come back into the game. And if they're like, yeah, okay, I'm cool with rolling another character, then okay, the rest of the characters have a really cool arc that they can go through. And my player has a really cool way to play something different in this game, add something new to the narrative.
Yeah.
Like, it's I feel like it's nothing but a win-win. But like, yeah, it's not like real life, and like, sure, if the player's like super attached to their character, then yeah, they have a way to come back, and that's not like super realistic. In life, shit happens.
Right. Truth.
But it's also a fantasy game.
Yeah. This is I see where you're coming from. Like, this is a game, a cooperative game that we play together, and our goal above all else is to have fun.
I want nothing more than my players to have a good time. And if I'm taking away the things that they love, I don't feel like my players are going to have a good time. And I'm not going to have a good time taking things away from them. I want my players to succeed. I want to make them heroes.
Oh.
I want them to have a good time. So like, why would myself taking these away with them increase my fun or increase their fun? Sure, they might have a like cool dramatic moment, and like they can still have that if the player that I'm killing is okay with that. But I don't want to force anything upon them. And as always, this is just my opinion. This is just my thoughts, my drunken thoughts in the moment.
These new age D&D players, these liberal SJW snowflakes in there. Back in my day when we played D&D, we killed people, and it meant something.
We wore a TPK as a badge of honor. But I feel like giving that choice to the players doesn't take anything away from my enjoyment. It doesn't take away anything from their enjoyment. And I feel like that's a good way to proceed with how I run the game. What do you think about killing players or doing anything with a player death? Have you've DM'd a one-shot for Silent Band?
I have only DM'd once. I've DM'd a one-shot for Silent Band. I had plans to do a homebrew one-shot, but after I lost all the progress I worked on whenever my laptop died, I got discouraged. And then I found a one-shot from DM's Guild that I wanted to run, but scheduling. I may try and like re-enlist people again and get started on that whenever I have more time. But yeah, all to say I've only DM'd once, and that was like kind of like a low stakes level 1 type adventure. Like there wasn't going to be any sort of like character death.
Mm-hmm.
So I, in my very limited DM experience, have not dealt with that. However, I think I would approach it the same way as I would, as my opinions on it as a player. Whatever is the most interesting narratively. Because to me, death can be the most boring option. Sometimes it can be interesting.
Sometimes yeah.
Sometimes it could be the swift kick in the butt that everyone needs. And, if...
See Critical Role Campaign 2.
Yeah. Yeah. So and like, and I agree. I think it depends on the player. Like some players are kind of like more, yeah, I'm willing to let this play out. And then some players are really attached to the character they create. And like, I think that it kind of diminishes the fun, or it's like, oh no, well, you died. Oh, you failed this resurrection check. Nope, sorry. Let me take this cool character concept away from you. No, I think there are ways to work around it and reach some sort of compromise. Like, yes, a price must be paid, one that can be paid narratively, and create, some new interesting drama, a new arc, a new element to a backstory, whatever.
I'm like smiling and rubbing my hands together at this.
Yeah, I have all these thoughts there. Will I ever DM anything where that occurs? Who knows? But
Please run a one shot on my channel.
uh,
Ugh.
uh,
I can't even commit to that at this moment.
the anxiety flare up just occurred. Oh no!
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's just, I don't feel confident enough to do that. I've only DM'd one thing ever, and
yeah, me neither.
It was not very good. It was not very good, to be honest. I'm terrible at building everything from scratch. My mind doesn't work that way.
Oh no.
Yeah, I tried to like build this map. It was a heist type one shot because the character was a thief, and I was building like the layout for this underground part of a mansion. I literally made it like two square rooms, and there were rooms along like the inner square of each room, and there were rooms along the outer square of each room. That was it. That was as creative as I got. So I have a long ways to go before I would ever want to showcase my skills on an internet setting.
Like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see Kyle with an N run a one shot.
Or like, comment, and subscribe if you don't. So yeah, but one day I would like to do more DMing wise. It's just
I want to do more DMing wise right now.
I just see what everyone else is capable of creating in their brain, or if it's something that they run from like a pre-made module. I see what they're capable of doing with it, and it makes me very I start comparing myself naturally, and I'm like, oh, I couldn't do that. So, it's just something I have to get over.
Yeah.
And it'll be fine. But, yeah, no, a long time before.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to get over that bump. Like, even throughout my first 2 years of DMing, I was still always comparing myself to Matt Mercer. And at one point, I even thought that, like, I was on the same level. I was wrong. I was very wrong. Like, everyone always has room for improvement. Even if you're Matt Mercer, you still have room for improvement.
Of course.
You can still always do something to make your players have more fun and make yourself look like you're trying less, or you're more receptive to your players' opinions and stuff. That's always something that you can work on. So just keep doing it. You'll get better. You'll have a more positive reaction from your players. You'll have a more positive reaction from yourself, and you will always help to build a narrative thing that you and your players can both enjoy, and you can share with the rest of us, who are so happy to hear from the rest of you.
Yeah, but the point is you have to try. You have to do, and you have to practice.
Try, you have to keep doing it, and you have to keep doing it even after you've already done it. No one's ever going to be perfect. There's no such thing as perfect.
Did you guys realize that this was a motivational podcast?
Yeah, you never notice. You're just getting some drunken wisdom from two fuck-ups.
You know, we're at the point
one fuck-up and one glorious person.
And the fuck-up is me. The fuck-up is here. But, yeah, no. We're at the point where our glasses are getting low, and, you know, the point in drinking where, well, I guess depending on the type of drunk you are, there's different types of drunks. But
we're at the bottom of the bottle.
One of my drunken love languages, if you want to call it such.
Oh, drunken love languages. That's a whole separate set of love languages.
Yes. One of mine is positive affirmations, in which I'm just like, I love you, man. You're so great. And, you know, you're so beautiful, and you're so smart, and you could be anything. You're a beautiful mermaid.
I just give like 10-cent positive sayings and then say that that's a love language. The only one I speak is gift giving, so I can't do that with our wonderful podcast listeners, except by gifting them this wonderful podcast.
You're welcome.
What can I say except you're welcome?
Yeah, so the two people who made it this far.
First, let us say we're so sorry. And second, let us say, Kylen.
Connor.
You've almost had people die. You have seen people die. At least in your role-playing games. I don't want to dig into your personal life.
I'm having flashbacks.
But you haven't had a player character die.
No, I haven't.
But let me ask the wonderful, wonderful question. If, and this is a big if Zephyr died, if Zephyr bit the bullet, had hit 0 hit points, and failed 3 death saving throws, what would bring him back?
What would
you want to bring him back? Besides Isabel's Revivify, because of course the Nat 20 resurrection roll of love is always a thing in D&D. Ask Laura Bailey.
Yes.
Laura Bailey.
Ooh, heart music. Yeah, so the interesting thing is, as much as Kylen would hate it, I think...
Kyle with an N?
Yes.
Internet famous at Kyle with an N?
Oh my God, stop. As much as I would hate it, I think Zephyr's instinct would be like, you know, this is life. You live fast, die hard. And when you take his own like insecurities and the knowledge of all the things he's done wrong and the people he's hurt and killed, I think he would be like, it would be better if I were dead.
What if Isabel brought him back?
If Isabel brought him back, that would he would like that.
What if Isabel brought him back after she revealed to him that she was supposed to be engaged?
Oh. Well, that would be juicy. That would be very juicy.
So whenever I roll this character, I was like, okay, let me pull some Alice Kingsley from the what's his name? Tim Burton, Alice in Wonderland stuff.
Yeah.
Let me pull some. I don't have a second thing. Whoops. I had thought that I did. Let
me pull something out my ass.
Let me do that. Yeah, so Isabel left for Kalrar before her engagement party.
Ooh.
And she was supposed to be engaged to someone
Ooh.
before she left off on her journey.
God, I hope we meet your fiance in season 2. I would love that.
Her fiance very well might be dead.
Oh, no. I want your fiance to be alive.
Literally everything she's been doing in this campaign was like, oh, we're friends. Of course I'm going to hold his hand because, like, we're friends and we're going to go through all of this together because we're best friends. Friends. I thought that we were going to end the session with her being like, oh, I'm sort of supposed to be engaged.
Oh, that would have been juicy.
That would have been so juicy. It still might be juicy. If you're listening to this podcast and you're also listening to Dragon Knights, that might still come up.
It's on the table for season 2.
It's on the table. It's probably going to come up because Purvy Star has not been shy about bringing our backstories into all of this.
Jesus, or adding more to your backstory than you ever would have bargained for.
We have killed my dad 9 times.
Oh my God.
We might have killed my mom once. Oh, things are happening.
I got a bunch of cool stuff this session.
You did. Like, you got 4 wonderful elemental rings, so you probably got a whole bunch of elemental powers.
Yeah, spoilers. Spoiler. I got some elemental rings. I got a phoenix. I found out I'm a reincarnation of a pharaoh who incidentally also probably started this whole mess to begin with. Found out I was a reincarnation of Pharaoh Star Elvis, and perhaps I have the ability to help somewhat, which, can't wait to see how that all manifests. But yeah, season 2.
We got 2 weeks to think on it. So the next time that we probably record Let's Talk About It, we'll be able to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like there's any sort of pattern to this or anything.
So yeah, you thought that was a way to deal with player death, maybe.
Yeah.
Is that what landed us on this conversation?
Yeah. You were asking me what would happen if Zephyr were to die. How would I want him brought back?
Yeah.
But see, that's Zephyr. I think it's different for every player character. I mean, not player character, but every character of mine, based off like what I think they would want, and sometimes selfishly what I would want.
Yeah.
Because there are some characters like, let's say if Lenore died, Lenore would be okay with it as a warlock of the Raven Queen whose, entire like story is like, death and the threads of destiny. She would just be like, this is, the end of my story. This is my thread cut short. And I would be fine with that. But then if my beautiful, sweet gnome bard Ellie were to die, I would fight tooth and nail to bring her back to life however possible.
Skir would also fight tooth and nail. Mostly tooth. And also nails, because his nails are actually claws.
Yeah, because he's...
To bring her back to life. Because he's a blood hunter Lycan.
So literally, yeah, because I'm like that is my D&D character that I am most strongly, closely attached to because she's my first real character.
Ellie.
And it's just kind of like, I don't know necessarily like the greatest extension in myself or like the greatest part of myself, but definitely the character I put the most heart and soul into.
Mm-hmm.
And the one that I have the most fun playing because I love gnomes and I love bards and I love playing chaotic good characters. So I would be devastated and would do whatever I could to bring her back. So yeah, it really just depends on the character and what I think, a combination of what I think is best for them and what they would want, and based on what me wants. What about you?
For which character?
Let's see. Okay, what?
And also, what is the question? Because I kind of forgot it at this point, but I'm very drunk.
God damn it, alcohol.
God damn it, alcohol, but also bless you.
How would you?
You make all of this conversation go a lot smoother.
Are you saying that we need alcohol to talk to each other and be entertaining?
To be entertaining, yes.
Okay. I was about to say, but that I
well,
can.
no, we have wonderful conversations sober, but they're not entertaining. They're just us catching up.
Bitch, what are you talking about? I'm a comedic genius.
I'm not.
I am like if Dane Cook and Jeff Dunham had a baby. I made myself cringe at that joke. Just kidding. But yeah, no. Question being, how would you react to their death? How would you want them resurrected, if possible? All that kind of questioning.
So for the characters that I'm playing now?
Yeah, since you started with Zephyr for me, let's start with Isabel for you.
Isabel would want to be resurrected in whatever way gives the party the most buffs.
Oh.
Isabel is a very selfless character.
Yeah. A sweetie.
Isabel is a sweetie. Isabel is the most charismatic, selfless sweetheart that I've ever played. And any way that she was brought back would lend herself to that. That said, again, I would have been very okay if she would have died today. Number one, because I thought that season 2 was going to be with different characters, and I was kind of ready for playing someone else. But also, Isabel wants the rest of the party to do good. She doesn't think of herself as like a binding agent, like someone who keeps the party together. She doesn't see herself as like this person who makes the rest of the party happy.
But she is.
Yeah, she is, but like she doesn't see herself that way. She's just like, I literally came to this place because this is where my parents met, and I was just gonna like party and have fun, and oh no, I'm wrapped up in this ancient prophecy.
Oh no.
Looks like I had to like fight and panic my way through everything here and like try to keep everyone else alive, but I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
What the fuck is going on?
What the fuck is going on?
I'm dead.
And so is Isabel at this point.
Oh no!
No spoilers, because she's actually not dead at the time that we're recording this.
Oh my god. Yeah.
But like she doesn't see herself in that light. She's just like, I'm just here. These other people have like family and stuff, or they, in the case of Zephyr, like he's just this like lost soul, but like he's wrapped up in all of this the same as the rest of us, and like he's gonna do so good. He's gonna like find this egg, and he's gonna like hatch it, and it's gonna like bond with him, and oh my gosh, he's the pharaoh of all this land and stuff, and oh my gosh, he's He's the ruler of all of this. He's going to be the one to like lead us to Damien, like kill him and save us from all of his void incursions.
You want some of this pharaoh business?
You want some of this pharaoh business? I cannot straighten out my leg for the life of me.
Oh, we're not even doing parkour. It's just sexy leg stuff this episode.
My leg only extends to a 75-degree angle.
Let's talk about it. Let's chiropract it.
Talk about it.
Oh my god. Oh, if
but
only there was a
Isabel
video
does not see
of it.
herself as a hero. Isabel sees herself as a support. If Isabel died, she would be okay with it so long as the rest of the party got something from it. If they had a drive, if they got power, if her dragon knight soul extended to the rest of them and like buffed them a little bit, she would be okay with it.
Okay.
If Argentine stayed with them and like was a mascot for them, she would be okay with that. As long as the rest of the party got something that could help them along the way.
I see. Now.
But I had gone into today's session fully thinking that this would be the last time that I played Isabel.
Yeah.
Which was why I was so okay with her dying during today's session. She didn't, and I will be reprising her for season 2.
Yay!
Because, like, Isabel makes me a better person. She really does. Because, like, she's... And maybe this is, like, gassing myself up for being an actor character type or player type. Player type, as according to Matt Colville, who, if you're a long listener to this stream, you know I have feelings about.
Ooh, tea.
There's some tea. There's some... Oh, shit. What's the opposite of tea? Coffee? There's some coffee about. Isabel makes me a better person. She's someone that I enjoy playing because the more that I channel her, the more I feel good about myself. Because even though she is a complete different person than me, I still brought her into my own world.
Yeah.
And she's still someone that I channel. She's so good. She's so compassionate. She's so empathetic. And she's something that I strive to be. And if she died, I want her to carry that into everyone else. I want her to touch other people. Even though she's not something that I am, she's something that I want to be. She's something that I want to channel. And I think even if you're not who you want to be at this moment, you have a chance to be able to channel someone else. You have a chance to be able to make another aspect of yourself and be able to embody that thing, embody that person. Does that make sense?
No, I get it. Yeah, I see what you're saying, because whenever I play any character, I take on that mindset. And I feel those emotions for however long we're playing. And, I love my dramatic, broody characters. They're fine and good. But I really love playing the happy, kind, compassionate characters because I'm in that mindset and I feel that feeling. And it's real and it's tangible. And, like, I do good things and I feel good. And it's like, oh, geez, how can I ride this high in real life,
Yeah.
So, yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, it's another aspect of yourself. It may be something you don't touch into as much, but, like, when you're in that moment, it's just like, wow, this, this feels good. But then again, I'm in the same boat as you. I get very immersive, and I really wrap myself up in whoever I'm playing.
Well, to like dial the clock back to like high school, you and I are both thespians.
Yes, as lesbians.
That's something that we both like bonded over whenever we first met.
Yeah.
So we're definitely actor types as far as, again, Matt Colville goes. But is there anything else that you want to like channel, or anything else that you want to give to your party members as your player character dies? As you sunset a player character. It doesn't have to be necessarily death. If you just want to roll a new character, do something else during your time. Is there something that you want to leave your fellow player characters with? We're not ending the episode at this point, by the way. if you're just listening in.
I suppose some sort of inspiration, some sort of new
meaning in your life, the inspiration.
You're the meaning in my life. You're the inspiration. my Bard Ellie, whenever she gave inspiration, that was the song she would sing, because I was
the song that she will sing, because we're totally going to bring her back.
TSB,
as well
please.
As Skewer.
TSB, please bring back the Adventures of Ellie and Skewer.
TSB is sleep AF at this point.
True.
As is normal for us whenever.
In typical fashion. But yeah, some sort of like inspiration, like whether it's like dramatic sadness, some sort of anger, passion for vengeance, or like, you know, a sense of like happiness or contentment, some sort of, I want there to be some sort of emotional impact. I think that just depends on the character and the circumstances. But I don't want it to be just like, oh, well, you know, that happened, and here we go, we move along our merry way. I want it to have some sort of, you know, it doesn't have to like change the whole story, but just like on top of the story they're pursuing, I'm having to deal with the baggage of this. So
yeah,
I just want it to mean something, man.
Make me feel something. At James Young, please don't sue me.
Avid listener James Young.
And I hope that's your name, because it's been a while and I'm very drunk.
Be drunk.
So I'm going to ask you about another character and what they would do after they die. But also, I'm going to ask myself about one of the characters.
Yeah, you asked me two, and I only asked you one, so let me ask you one real quick.
Okay.
Because I brought up Ellie. How would you feel about Skewer if Skewer died? What would you want? How would you react?
Skewer's just a pissed individual.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not really. Okay. So Skewer is the very first D&D 5e character that I ever rolled. He is a Blood Hunter, Order of the Lycan. Because, of course, he is.
Because, woo.
He is... so, he was very much modeled after Travis Willingham's character, McLaren von Toskobel, which you can see in the Kind of Funny or GameSpot one-shots that Critical Role did back in 2015 or 2016. I'm not sure. The same one-shots that Jester made her first appearances in.
Yeah, so you know, lore.
There is some lore behind there. So he's Blood Hunter Lycan, Order the Lycan. First primal right is right at the Frozen. Skewer would come back pretty much for anything as long as he can still fuck shit up. Because he was very much the tanky character of our first couple of sessions.
Well, yeah, kind of. We had a barbarian too, but
yeah, but he was still very reckless. He was a very reckless character. Just getting into stuff so that he could kill whatever was coming in their way. So he would come back from anything that would either protect someone who was on his team, doubly so for Ellie.
Oh.
Or something that could, like, give him insight into what he was doing, what his sword meant. Skjor has a sword that, like, talks to him.
Yeah. Yeah, Old Bane, I think it was sword.
His full name is Frostheart's Bane because Skjor's full title is like Skjor Frostheart. Because, like, right at the Frozen.
Yeah.
He's very cold-hearted and just wants to, like, kill things. He's very reckless and everything. He would be okay with anything that, like, granted him insight into, like, where his sister's gone and everything. He still has unfinished business, and that business is finding his sister and, like, getting her back into their order. Skjor's been, like, expelled. Excommunicated. Excommunicated is the word that I was looking for. From his order. And at the very least, he wants his sister to be, like, okay.
Yeah.
So anything that brought that back to the forefront would be cool in his mind. So let me come back at you with a counterattack.
Oh, no.
We're playing a game tomorrow. We're playing a D&D game right now that is a Waterdeep Dragon Heist, but reskin for Amon, which has put a little bit of stress on me because I had to, like, keep reskinning elements to fit the Critical Role Campaign 1 storyline. But you're playing a character in that game. It is the Warlock character that we've sort of touched on before, but, like, you've really got a chance to feel out since then.
Yeah, so I play Soleil. She is an Eladrin warlock pack with an Archfey patron. I haven't really given much details because there is a lot that still needs to come to light. The only real major thing she's revealed to the party is that she is from the Feywild, and she was sent here from the Feywild for some sort of mission.
All right. Well, let's say a giant fireball ransacks your tavern and somehow kills Soleil. How would she come back to that equation? How would you want Soleil to come back from that?
Well, for one, I would want her to come back because I think because it's so early and there's a lot of unfinished business.
Yeah, we're going from, like, level 1 to 5, so I feel like rolling separate characters through a small enough campaign like that would be okay. Like, rolling a different character would be jarring.
Yeah.
Same characters would be good. But continue, so you would want to stay for that.
Yeah, because she has a lot of unfinished business, and her entire backstory, as most warlocks are doing things for your patron to get something in return.
Yeah.
And her end of the bargain is very personally meaningful for her. So she definitely wants to see it through. And I think her patron, for whatever reason, has some amount of trust in her, and for some reason she's the only one that they were able to bring to the prime material plane for whatever reason. So I think he would want to see that through. So perhaps now I don't know how, I'm not saying he's capable of resurrecting, but like perhaps he would have some sort of hand in it somehow.
Well, I certainly might be.
But in turn, everything is for price in that case. And it's very interesting when you're dealing with Archfey because the price is very random, I think. Just whatever suits their whims at the time. So, I say this not just because I'm kind of selfish in that regard, but because the narrative idea of patrons, and especially Archfey. I think Archfey are the most interesting because they're so mercurial and they're so like...
Mercurial is such a good word for that.
Yeah, like they're so... You never
know how I feel about Mercury.
You want to avoid it at all costs, but you end up hitting it anyway.
I'm like sticking my tongue out at this point.
Mwah. But there's 1 minute they're hot, next minute they're cold. You never know what they want, and that element of chaos and what it can bring to the narrative is something that I really enjoy. So because of that, I don't want Soleil to perma-die at this point. I want to see what can come from that resurrection.
Now, this is another game that I'm playing, or that I'm DMing, sorry. So, we've already sort of talked about it. I don't believe in killing my player characters before the player is okay with it. So, you're probably safe in that regard.
That's good.
But dice happen.
Mm-hmm.
So you might die.
Fuck.
So maybe we'll be hearing from your patron pretty soon so that he can like petition your soul back.
Yeah. I mean, we already have heard from them in the campaign, but it was an aside conversation. And because I am the bitch that I am, I'm very cryptic. Even in moments where I am alone.
Mm-hmm.
Because I love antagonizing my fellow players and slowly dropping my backstory.
Now, at the time that we're recording this, at this particular point in the podcast, it is 2:30 a.m. on Central Time.
Shit.
On a Sunday morning. I am playing in another 5e campaign that is being streamed besides Dragon Knights.
Yeah.
I'm playing Blake, not Drake. The Black Dragonborn, Blood Hunter, Order of the Profane Soul, who also has a patron.
Mm-hmm.
And Monday hasn't come across yet, but I feel like most of his backstory might be revealed during our very next session.
Ooh. That's exciting. I didn't get to watch this Monday's episode, so I'm curious to see what will happen.
Well, he has a patron. He's Order of the Profane Soul, so he gets a warlock patron, and he sort of like does a warlock light sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
With his wisdom modifier as opposed to his charisma modifier. Not a lot has come out of that because he got blackout drunk right after making his patron deal.
You know, player character.
But the only witness there had sent him a letter that another party member saw. So they haven't opened it yet, but Blake is about to walk into the room while that other player character is playing with his plushies.
Oh no!
Which have a story reason for being there, which he'll talk about during Monday night session on twitch.tv/The Indoor Adventurer.
Ooh.
But Blake has not died yet. He has gone unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
As has our Justice's character, Kylen.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen another player death under this particular GM. So that DM has had a player death sequence. It was another blood hunter, and she had died from Brimush. No, the half orc sorcerer. No, half orc wizard. At the very first, Grimshar.
Okay.
Name. In Waterdeep Dragon Heist. He incinerated her, and she had come back because she made a deal with the vengeance god of the Forgotten Realms pantheon. But like they had this whole conversation about like her coming back, like in game, and this vengeance god having a wonderful conversation about that. Now I'm playing another character under this GM. His name is Blake. He is a blood hunter. He's a blood hunter, so he's probably going to die because most of his abilities like cause him hit point damage.
Yeah, blood hunters don't have the best track record of being alive.
Blood hunters squish themselves, which is why I'm having a lot of fun playing a ranged blood hunter. You can say behind my barbarian, cleric, and paladin as they fuck shit up.
Right.
But I can definitely still see my character dying before I feel like he has a narrative end. Because I'm playing under this GM who has given a player a conversation with the god, I feel like if Blake does die, he could probably have the same thing.
But with his patron?
No.
Oh.
If Blake dies, I want him to have a conversation with Tiamat.
Ah!
Now, KyleWithAnN is waving her arms and saying, ah, because KyleWithAnN knows that I have a soft spot for Tiamat.
And I don't.
Because we're also playing a Horde of the Dragon Queen campaign where I'm playing a white dragonborn sorcerer of the Draconic bloodline. And KyleWithAnN is playing an elf paladin, Bahamut.
Former gold dragon, currently high elf.
Former gold dragon, because the 10th narrative tie-in in Horde of the Dragon Queen gives you that option.
Yes. I was not creative enough to come up with that. But yes, that is my lot in life. So I embody Tyrell and all of my dealings towards Tiamat out of character. I'm just like...
So as I've mentioned a couple of times on this podcast, my character in that same campaign is a white dragonborn sorcerer who has not had good run-ins with the Chantry of Bahamut. In fact, he has had very negative experiences with Bahamut worshippers. He has a scar on the right side of his snout because of encounters with Bahamut. And I, as a player, really like Bahamut or Tiamat. Not Bahamut, the exact opposite of Bahamut.
You wanna like some Bahamut?
No, get that shit away from me.
Accept my dragon, Jesus!
I like Tiamat because, like, Tiamat's a villain. I know that she did wrong, and I know that she is, like, evil and shit. Connor, as a player, knows this. My characters, or specifically my chromatic Dragonborn characters, don't. Rogar made a holy symbol to her because he is a jeweler and used that to work through his feelings about stuff, about everything that they're going through at the moment. He did it because it was a really cool design, and he was like, okay, if I work on this, I have a distraction for everything that's going on in my mind at this point. And he also made 2 holy symbols, one for Tyrell, this same dragon, or not half elf, high elf paladin.
That bitch, me.
And also the black dragon that he and Tyrell hatched.
Our child.
Our child, Barash, named after Rogar's father. He made Bahamut holy symbols for them. He blessed the one for Tyrell because that would give +1 to his spell attacks and spell saves.
Thanks.
And he gave one to Barash because, like, it would help him decide, like, hey, maybe Bahamut's cool. They had a cool conversation. So maybe, yeah, that's something that they can do, and they can turn out good and not evil and want to kill all humans. Rogar doesn't know anything. Tiamat told him to save Barash because he was going to protect his kin as he failed to do so before.
Mm-hmm.
That's not something that seemed particularly evil in his mind.
Right.
Blake, on the other hand, he's had one experience with his patron, who is an ancient black dragon that apparently his mother sacrificed a lot to get him in contact with. Not only does he not remember that conversation happening, he doesn't remember anything about his origin. He doesn't remember anything about Tiamat. He never studied Tiamat. He studied the human gods.
Spicy.
He doesn't know anything about his origins. He was raised by humans who never told him the meanings of his tattoos. They're scars. They're literally ritual scars.
Oof.
He doesn't know what's going on with them. If Blake died, I want him to come face to face with Tiamat.
Ooh. Damn. You want a double dip. You want a patron and a god. That's messy.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Let's talk about it. Let's parkour about it first, but...
Hey, so what's that post that you just did? Is that like a triple hot and spicy
McChicken?
So yeah, patrons and gods, specifically related to player death. So, like, we've got warlocks, we've got paladins, we've got clerics. All of those characters sort of lend themselves to gods and patrons. Sometimes those sort of overlap. So, in D&D 5e, there are characters like Darsden, the Mad God, the Chain God, god of madness and trickery and deceit, who is specifically listed out in like the Warlock Pact of the Old One. And also the divine domain of trickery. Same thing with Vecna, the maimed god, the whispered one. He is Warlock Pact of the Undying in the Sorkos Adventurer's Guide. He is also a death knowledge cleric domain. And he has other powers, domains, things that you can follow. How would you deal with following one of those gods and having to be brought back by one of them? Or like, how would you be brought back by an evil god?
That's interesting. I've wrestled with that character concept before. I haven't fully fleshed it out, but I have the idea of a character who, for whatever reason, perhaps they were raised to not see the full aspects of this evil god and only sees like the certain characteristics of them, like the certain powers, like especially gods related to like trickery. Because if they can trick others, why can they not trick their own followers?
Why can't they trick themselves?
Yeah, so I see perhaps playing a character who is perhaps naive to the aspects of this god and like doesn't see the evil behind their powers or the evil their god may ask them to do for whatever reason. They just don't know better. And then in that aspect, coming like face to face with this god, would they be able to see it then? Would they still be just as naive and innocent as before? I think it's interesting, like when there is a mismatch between the alignment of your character and the alignment of your god. I think it can be an interesting relationship.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's a concept I would like to explore one day. An evil god and a good character. Or like a neutral character. Or whatever. I'll flesh it out one day.
All right. So I'll present you with a send me more of that leggy action, that footsie action.
My interpretive leggy dance action.
That parkour, that wonderful, wonderful parkour that all our viewers come here to see our wonderful descriptions of things happening, like Kylen doing a somersault and like doing a headstand with her foot sort of like in a 4 pose or H pose with her with one of her legs going up in the air and the other one like angled in a way. Yeah.
I could do some wild shit with my body.
Ooh.
Let's talk about that.
Let's not. So I present you with this. You have to say goodbye to one of your characters.
Oh no.
What do they leave behind?
What do they leave behind? Like a tangible thing or just...
Sure.
Or like words of encouragement and wisdom?
Yeah, that sounds good too.
I don't know. I suppose it depends on the character.
What does Ellie leave behind?
Oh, hopefully she leaves behind a laugh, a smile, a song, something to remember by. She would leave behind the loot, but it only works for her, so that wouldn't be very helpful.
Aw.
But I mean, you could still have it. It just wouldn't work. But yeah, just a good memory to remember her by?
Friend.
What does friend leave behind?
Yeah.
Well, she does still have a cool necklace of fireballs, but
They do.
yeah, they have a necklace of fireballs, and they have stool, but like that's not really a thing. But
That's a person.
yeah, that's a creature. But their whole story is everything they want is just friendship and closeness and connection. So they would want to leave that feeling behind. Just the feeling of friendship, the feeling that, that they cared for each and every one of their companions.
Tyrell.
See, the thing about Tyrell is Tyrell wants to die, because once he dies, he gets to return to his place in the afterlife.
I am sitting here mouth agape. This has never crossed my mind.
Yeah, Tyrell Singh is, once he dies and lives a life redeeming himself in service to Bahamut, he's able to return in the afterlife to what he once was before. So, it's not something that he actively strives towards, but he wouldn't be opposed to. Oh, God, your mouth is so open. So, so I guess it would depend how far along the quest they were. If they died before defeating the Dragon Cult and Tiamat, then perhaps a sense of purpose, of vengeance, of righteous fury to go and complete this quest. He does have some loot that he could drop, and if it was after the quest, just perhaps a sense of peace. Zephyr. Interesting. He's just such a little bastard, and is so elusive when it comes to matters of the heart that I don't know if he would leave a very clear message or clear anything. I think he would beat around the bush to whatever he was trying to say. But I think in a roundabout way, he would just want his friends to know that they meant a lot to him, and in a way that they redeemed him. But I don't think he would ever come clean and say it. He would use his pretty words. And yeah.
And Soleil.
What would she leave behind for her friends? I think that would depend on her mood. Whatever season she was in at the moment. Like if she was summer, like she is most of the time, she'd be pretty pissed, and she'd probably leave that anger with her friends. Winter, sadness, fall, some sort of contentment, spring, some sort of joy, but I don't know. I mean, she's mostly in summer all the time because she has this very unfulfilled part of her backstory that's so meaningful to her. And so that's kind of her default mood until she accomplishes this. So it just kind of, I don't know, mostly just anger that she wouldn't be able to accomplish this. And I guess she would just leave that sense of unfulfillment with her friends, unfortunately.
Forgive me if I'll pronounce this character's name wrong. Svenrir.
Svenrir. Yeah, Svenrir is interesting. He's in a campaign, a solo campaign that TSB ran for me all by myself. He's a half-elf phoenix sorcerer, and his whole story is finding out the origin behind his terrible powers that led to him burning down an entire library and basically getting shunned by the whole town. And he also wants to find the origin of his father, or not the origin, but like where his father's at, because his father disappeared around the same time or a little before and never returned. And it's been several years. So, so what would he leave behind? It's interesting. He's a very timid character and he's very passive. So, So I think just by his passive nature, he would accept it. And he'd just be like, oh, well, this is probably for the best. I can't hurt anyone anymore.
Right, because Svenner doesn't have a party.
Yeah,
so he wouldn't really leave anything behind.
Yeah, he wouldn't really he has one like NPC companion.
Okay.
But, there would be unfulfillment, but he would still just be like, well, I can't hurt anyone else anymore.
Oh.
So some sadness. Some
so
happy
many of my characters follow the same thing.
Yeah. What about your characters?
What about them?
What would they leave behind? Let's go start with Skjor.
Skjor would leave behind a whole bunch of wine, some alchemical supplies, some anger issues, a little bit of money. But like mostly he would just be like upset, like he never found out what was going on with his sister. And I think like we've gone about a year since he's opened up his tavern door completely naked with Ellie in the room. Just like, what the fuck y'all want?
Yeah.
So he's just been leaving behind a lot of spite and anger.
Okay. So from there, Jakar, what would Jakar leave behind? I mean, he's already
Jakar's been dead for a while. Oh no, Jakar. Sorry, I thought that you were talking about Jaharth.
Oh.
Jakar would leave behind strength. Like that's what he would want to leave behind. Like he wants to protect everyone else. Like he thinks that everyone else is small and not able to defend themselves against everything that's coming after them. So he wants to be the meat shield between the forces of evil and everyone else in his party.
Right.
So if he did die again, he would want his spirit to stay behind and fight against the Demogorgon and everything else.
Okay. Isabel. I know we've kind of touched on it, but
we've kind of touched upon that. But Isabel will want to leave behind, number one, all the secret lore that we haven't touched on yet. That involves like her engagement.
Shit.
Everything that's going to cock block Zephyr. But she would also want to leave behind like some hope. Like, sure, she had a familial connection to the Dragon Knights and everything that came with that. But even though she, being that connection, is gone, she wants everyone else to still be able to take a stand against evil, take a stand for what's right, to take a stand to defend the world.
Yeah.
She's that kind of person. She's that kind of selfless person who, even though she has been taken out of the equation, she still wants everyone else to fight their damnedest to protect the world,
Mm-hmm.
to spread the light that she would have into the world.
Oh, my good sweet panic princess.
She's too pure. I should not be playing her.
Okay.
I'm not nice enough to be playing Isabel.
You are.
I can try.
Rogar.
Rogar would leave behind spite.
Spite.
Rogar would leave behind that holy symbol for Barash. Rogar wants Barash to be the good that he wishes that he could be. Rogar would want to leave behind something petty for Tyrell, just to be like, yeah, Bahamut never gave me shit, but sure, he's giving you shit. So he would want to leave behind that sort of like energy, just like fight your hardest, because Bahamut's not going to give you everything.
Mm-hmm.
Bahamut might leave you for dead.
Yeah.
He would leave behind wanting to spread his influence. Like, Rogar was a pretty good jeweler. He was part of the Waterhaven Guild, or Jewelers Guild. And he's been able to, like, manifest that in, like, making a holy symbol for Tyrell, for making a holy symbol for Barash, making an arcane focus for Barash. He hasn't done anything for Negative Sigma's character or Concert 20's character.
Yeah.
He would want to leave, physically, he would want to leave behind a trinket for them. Just to be like, hey, I know that Tyrell and I had a yin-yang relationship going on, but I'm still thinking of you. One of you is gonna lead us to victory, and one of you is actually the real evil that we should be fighting in this campaign.
True.
At Negative Sigma, what the fuck are you doing?
We know what you're doing.
Well, we know metagaming pigeon, coo. He would want to leave behind something for them. Probably just like a little jeweler's trinket. Probably not a lot more. But he would want them to know that he was thinking of them, and he wants them to help undo the sins of his father. His father, who is in league with the Cult of the Dragon.
Mm.
Yeah.
Any other characters?
Let's talk about Blake.
Oh yeah, Blake.
If Blake died. Okay. We ended off last session in a very weird place where Gwen actually had gone into Blake's tavern room and went through, number one, Blake's letters.
Ooh.
Blake had been writing journal entries addressed to someone for the first 10 episodes of this campaign. And that character who he had been writing letters to is someone who was very close to him before stream. Is another blood hunter who I had actually played as a player character on Indoor Adventures channel.
Oh.
But only podcast listeners get to hear this.
Secret. That's why you should listen to our podcast. We give you secret lore dumps.
We give you secret lore dumps about our OCs who are hot. Blake would leave behind. So even though I've been playing Blake for months, I don't know what he would leave behind. Someone's going through his stuff right now and knows a lot of what Blake has been thinking as far as his inner monologue. But Blake is a character who is a blood hunter. He is a monster hunter by trade, and he knows that at some point he is going to get the hunter's death.
Yeah.
As much as I would love for him to stay as far as he has unfinished business, as far as like he would be able to have a conversation with Tiamat and possibly be able to like figure out what she has in store for him. Because regardless of whether he wants it or not, his patron is Tiamat's consort.
I'm doing wiggly eyebrow stuff.
You are doing wiggly eyebrow stuff. He would leave behind for Kylen just a sense of, I know that things are weird and you don't know what's going on, but you are still you are still this person that you think you are, and that's all that matters. So make the best of that what you will. I don't know if he would be able to leave behind something for Corey, who has been his best friend through this entire, because Corey has such a good relationship with Corlon, and which is a he in this particular campaign setting. Corlon, he and Corey have such a good, if distant, relationship. That's not something that Blake has. Blake started this campaign not knowing any god that he would have a relationship with. He still doesn't think that he does. If he did have a god, it would be Tiamat, and that's not something that he would be okay with.
No.
But it's probably something that he might have to. And this is totally because I haven't been able to play Rogar in a while since I've like built this character. So I don't know what I would leave behind with Corey. And for Gwen, it would just be the fact that he only has one dick.
In my final moments, I want you to know
I only have one dick. And that comes by the fact that, like, during the session before the previous one, Blake had, like, gotten drunk with this other Dragonborn.
Yeah.
Which at this point, Blake still thinks that he's a Dragonborn. Whoops. Ooh, that's some spicy lore. But eventually Gwen talked to this Dragonborn because Blake blacked out and he knew that he was talking to this Dragonborn. He didn't know if like they left together and fucked or not.
Oh.
But Gwen went and talked to this guy and he was just like, by the way, I have 2 dicks. And I don't know if he was fucking or not, but Gwen was just like, oh, okay, I need to talk to Blake about this. So that's where we're going to start next session.
You know, in one of our home campaigns, apparently, this was not a session I was present for, but apparently there was a discussion to be had about Dragonborn genital anatomy.
Yeah, so Silent Band had a sort of side arc going where he had 5 Dragonborn who were like chosen to be avatars of Tiamat, and one of our characters, a rogue who is very interested in the sexual anatomy of other characters, very much wanted to know, what does a Dragonborn's dick look like? We were supposed to fight a boss during that night, but instead we spent 2 hours talking about various dicks. Sometimes your D&D sessions go that way. That's no fault of yours. That's no fault of your players. It's just where conversation tends to go organically.
So, our advice to you, Latai listeners, is just when the moment occurs, just ride that Dragonborn dick.
Ride that Dragonborn dick. And also, did you just call us Altai?
Latai?
Latai. L-T-A-I? A-T-L-A? Last Airbender? You know the Avatar?
Jesus. Oh, this is off the rails. Much like a D&D session that devolves into talking about Dragonborn dicks,
Ooh.
This episode is off the rails.
Ooh.
All right. Got anything else you want to say? Anything before we wrap up the session?
Ooh. So if you have players who are dying, don't let it be the end for them unless they are okay with it. Get your players' consent before killing off characters. That's my only thing, or at least talk to them. Cut the session a little bit early if you have to, but talk to your players about what death means, what they want to do.
Make death interesting. Don't make it boring.
Yeah, don't just take your players steal story progression from your players. Let them make their death interesting, and if they want to come back, make that interesting too.
In the end, this is a story you make together.
Yeah.
So make it a good one.
In the wise words of a player character personality person that we both look up to, Liam O'Brien at Voice of Brian. This is a game. This is a fucking game. Make sure everyone is having fun.
Yeah.
Even whenever you want to brutally murder everyone. We haven't even talked about TPKs. Maybe that'll be a later episode of whatever this is.
Oh, you know exactly what it is, baby. This is Let's Talk About It.
Ooh, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Like business. All right, babies. All right, listeners. We love you. Thanks for sticking around this long.
Thanks for sticking around with us, and we will see you during our next time. Kylen, what would you like to plug?
Oh, what would I like to plug? Dragon Knight Season 2 Pro Restarters channel starts October 22nd, 27th.
Oh, Dragon Knight Season 2!
27th, October 27th is when that comes back. So we have a week-long break, and then we right back in the thick of it. I'm also on Pro Restarters channel on Wednesdays at 3 Eastern Standard Time for End of the World Quarantine, where I play myself during the zombie apocalypse.
Right. I still haven't seen any of that, but I will after this. That's my challenge. Let's talk about challenges.
Oh my god.
Sorry. I'm going to cut this sign off pretty short. Kyle with an N.
Connor with an R.
Connor with an R. What the fuck?
I'm sorry. I'm drunk and I'm not creative. Please talk to me.
What role-playing streams did you sign up for? Because I want you to sign up for one more.
Um, I signed up for one tonight, but as opportunities come and if they fit with my schedule, I will sign up for them. But I don't want to say anything yet
Yeah.
because
Yeah, I mean, we have NDAs and stuff. Let's say that we do. I have a challenge for myself. And
okay, thought.
this is a bit more overreaching than what our normal challenges have been. And I say that very loosey-goosey because we've only had one challenge for each other during this 4-episode run of whatever this is, this podcast that I will eventually actually get into podcast form whenever I ask Indoor Adventurer how to do that. I will run 2 one-shots on my Twitch channel
Oh my goodness.
before the end of the year.
You heard it here first. Let's talk about it, listeners. Latai listeners. Right here.
Not including What the Hells.
Ooh, yeah, that's true. You did run the one, but
I ran the one, but I need to run 2 more.
Ooh.
So that's my challenge to myself, and I'll have a while to do it because this is October 14th.
Wow, you actually dated
date this. So I have a couple of months to do that, but I will run 2 one-shots on my channel before the end of the year.
Do you have them planned?
No.
That'll be fun.
So fun.
All right.
All right then.
Anything you want to plug?
So the character Blake that I sort of talked about, I play on Mondays on twitch.tv/TheIndoorAdventurer because his branding just changed. And I've had a lot of fun running that character, and I'd love to see what he gets into. I've gone sort of dark with this character's backstory, and I love what he's doing. He's such a sweet boy. On Saturdays, I play with KyleWithAnN, internet famous at KyleWithAnN.
Oh.
Where we play in Dragon Knights, where I had thought that we were rolling new characters for season 2, but I was incorrect. So I have a second character like on standby in case Isabel dies that I really won't share a lot with, but let me tell y'all, it is very on brand. But maybe we'll see them, maybe we won't. Who knows? And if y'all are listening, twitch.tv/open4adventure, all spelled out, open for FOR adventure. Check them out because they're doing stuff real soon. My very first GM starting her own Twitch channel. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Check that out. At KyleWithAnN. Anything else you want to plug? I know it cut you off a little bit.
Nah, that was pretty much it.
So Pro Restarter Saturdays and Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank y'all so much for sticking with us. I'm very tired, and I've got a game to run tomorrow with some wonderful people who help make my channel what it is.
I got this alcohol to sleep off and hopefully not get a hangover from.
Ooh, boy. So we will see y'all later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Shit, I didn't hit the stop recording. Let me hit it. Zoom, please.